Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Note to Self. Before I dive into today's incredibly transformative episode, I just want to make a special announcement. I've decided to extend May Magic 2 more weeks until May 23rd because I've just been having so much fun with this offer. For those of you who aren't familiar, May Magic is where you fill out the form down below in the description box or show notes. You set your intentions, you set the level of coaching support that would be the most helpful to you, and then you set your budget. And within 72 hours, I get back to you with a coaching offer or a couple of different options to choose from, and then we move forward working together. This has added a whole next level of creativity to my business, and it's given me the chance to work with so many of you, and some of you that I've known from programs and courses in the past, or we've had conversations on Instagram, and you've mentioned to me that coaching is something you've been interested in but haven't necessarily taken the leap for yourself. So for those of you who are first time entering into the coaching world with me, I am just so grateful to work with you, and I just want to commend you for the courage, the strength, the bravery it takes to try something new, to venture into the unknown in that way. And I know for some of you have already had some incredible breakthroughs in sessions, and I look forward to all the breakthroughs to come. So if you've been thinking about dabbling in coaching, if you're a previous client and you're just ready for more momentum again in your life, if you are currently facing a block or resistance of some kind that you just want to power through, I am here for you. So May Magic is linked down below, and I can't wait to work with you. So today's podcast episode, I said it was highly transformative, and I mean it, because in a world where emotions can often hijack our thoughts, our identities, our decisions, this episode is going to be your wake-up call. So if you've ever said something like, I am anxious, I am heartbroken, or I am angry, you're not alone, but those simple phrases reveal a hidden trap. Is you've unknowingly started to become the emotion instead of experiencing it. And this episode will teach you the critical shift that changes everything: how to feel your emotions without losing yourself in them. When you learn how to observe your emotions instead of identifying with them, you take your power back. You become more clear, and you have a more grounded sense of self. So this isn't just emotional hygiene, it's emotional mastery. And it's the difference between being at the mercy of your moods and becoming grounded, centered, and powerful. The most powerful version of yourself that you've seen yet, one who can respond consciously to life's challenges. So I'm going to take a moment to clarify this concept a bit more for you. So there is a world of difference between saying, I notice I am feeling sad, versus I am sad. I notice I am feeling sad is emotional awareness. I am sad is emotional identification. So here is an analogy for you. Imagine you're inside a warm house looking out the window at a thunderstorm. You see the lightning, you hear the thunder, but you are safe. Now compare that to standing out in the storm without shelter, soaked and shivering. That's the difference between observing your emotions and becoming them. One is observing the storm, let's say. The other is getting swept up and drenched by it. So here's a client example that I have to share. There was a coaching client of mine in the past who I still presently work with, and she came to a coaching session one day and said, I'm just an anxious person. I can't do that solo trip that I want to do. I'm just too anxious. And that belief shaped her choices. It limited her confidence. And not just the decision of going on a solo trip, but it made every challenge feel 10 times heavier with that belief. When we shifted the language to, I'm feeling anxious right now, everything started to change for her. She became liberated. She was no longer being anxiety and identifying with anxiety. She was observing it, responding to it, and eventually releasing it. She took her power back from the anxiety she had been experiencing, imagining making a leap of faith, such as an extended solo trip for herself. the liberation I witnessed in her was incredibly heartwarming and inspiring, because sometimes it is just a simple shift in language that can create the space for us to see things so much differently. So this matters because when you become your emotions, you tend to get stuck. You spiral. You feel powerless. So if you've been experiencing any of those emotions lately, a feeling of helplessness, right, stuckness, just feeling like you're spiraling, it's most likely because you are identifying with an emotion versus creating space between it. When you observe your emotions, you get the space, you get the clarity, and you get the freedom. So this is where the transformation begins, because the moment you realize you're not your emotions, you remember that you always have a choice. And that choice is your superpower. That choice is your freedom. That choice is the change that you've been craving. So becoming aware of this, how do we begin to practice it? I'm going to provide you with a couple of tools here to help you feel your feelings without becoming them. The first is to label the emotion. Start to transform your language around the emotions that you experience. For example, say, I'm feeling sad right now. It grounds you in the present and activates the rational brain versus identifying with and saying, I am sad, right? Label the emotion for what it is and as something that you are feeling. Next, another tool is name it to tame it, because neuroscience shows that simply naming your feeling reduces its intensity. So I've often used the phrase, and use this still with my clients today, is a fear named is a fear tamed. Because when we can identify what the fear is, not identify with the fear, that starts to create separation from that fear, and that starts to create space. And in that space, a new choice, a new empowered choice gets to be made. So name it to tame it. The next step I have for you today is to create distance. Try saying a part of me feels overwhelmed instead of I am overwhelmed. To me, this is a total game changer, because when I can recognize that just a simple part of me is feeling overwhelmed, not the collective whole, it's like the other parts of me can get on board with supporting that small part of me that's feeling a bit overwhelmed. It allows the alchemization of the emotions to happen a lot faster, and it also just implies that there is so much strength inside of me that can support the feeling of overwhelm right now. It can observe it, and it can find the solution to create more ease, more peace, more empowerment, the clarity, whatever it is that I might need. In addition to that, mindfulness practices are always incredibly supportive. So breath work, body scans, journaling, these things can all help you to tune into your emotional state without drowning in it. For me, a very powerful breath practice is simply taking an inhale count of 4, a holding of 2, an exhaling of 6, because this breath specifically, inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6, signals to the nervous system, I am safe. Signals to the nervous system that you are safe in this moment, and that the emotions that might feel intense are actually, again, just visitors. It allows you to create that space, which allows you to make an empowered choice on how to move forward. So next, ask this powerful question the next time you experience an emotion. What does this emotion need from me right now? This turns your emotions into allies, not enemies. It allows you to identify what that next step might be. It might be taking a deep breath in and taking it and big, heavy exhale, expelling all of those heavy emotions. Or it could be something like a hug, and you can embrace yourself. You can physically give yourself a hug. This is something that I do from time to time when my emotions feel so intense, and I ask myself this question. Sometimes I just need a warm embrace of myself. I need that act of self-love. So let me leave you with this. You are not your sadness. You are not your fear. You are not your anger. You are the consciousness witnessing it all. And that awareness, that is your superpower. The next time a strong emotion hits, take a deep breath and say, I see you. That single moment of presence can change everything for you. And if you're willing to take on a bit of a challenge for the next 24 hours, a bit of homework from this episode, practice naming your emotions without letting them define you. Observe them, feel them, but remember who you truly are underneath them. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode today. And for those of you who are interested, May Magic form will be down below, and I look forward to working with more of you, especially if this episode strikes something in you and you've been recognizing that there's a big emotion that's been coming to the surface lately. We can most certainly tackle that. Sending you a big hug, lots of love, and I'll talk to you soon.